Hey, it's Nicole again, and this is another episode of Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversation. I'm going to be talking about the difference between dating in your 20s, 30s, and your 40s. So, grab your cocktail, something a little grown and sexy, a little Cosmo, get yourself a nice cupcake, and listen. So, back when I was in my 20s, I used to have this saying that no one really liked. They hated when I said it. So, I'm not going to lead with what I used to say. I'm going to kind of put you down a little path, get you to where I'm going so you don't try to beat me up. So, in our 20s, women, we are pretty much at our prime. We are the people that we know that this is the best time to have kids. It's a great time to settle down, and there's a lot of like minded men out there. So, a lot of people, when you talk to married people, they've gotten married in their 20s. That was the standard, the gold standard for a very long time. I mean, before that, you was getting married as teenagers. As time goes by, it gets later and later. But why is that? People are ready. People are ready to settle down. Fresh out of high school, fresh out of college. Start a family early. That means you get the rest of your life with your spouse. Go travel the world. It makes sense. So people do that. Women are ready. You got enough men that are ready for the same thing. We get to our 30s. If you haven't settled down yet, the men are like, well, I'm still going to try to chase me some 20-year-olds. That's what's interesting. They don't want nobody, no women in their 30s. They're looking for them 20-something year olds because now they're like, oh my God, I'm 30. What am I going to do with my life? I still got it. Because for some reason, when we hit 30, we think we old. When the truth is, we are not. So the men are running around chasing the 20-year-olds. The 30-year-old women are trying to find the last available man out there. Standards are way up here. They want kids, or and they're running men away because they want kids now, because their biological clock is ticking. They want that kid now, so they're running the men away. Or they had kids. The female has a kid, and then men are like, I'm 30 something years old with no kids. I'm not about to date this woman with children. So they're chasing after the 20 something year old. Probably gonna have a kid with them anyway, but chasing after that 20 something year old. Then we get to our 40s. Our 40s roll around. Females are like, all right, my kid is either out the house, going out the house. I'm grown. Let me work on me and maybe find somebody to spend the rest of my life with. It's maybe, but I'm good either way as a woman in my 40s. The men, they're like, yeah, nothing happened. Less 20-year-olds are interested in me, but they still are because I was a 20-year-old and I like my men older. But there's less 20-year-olds that are interested in me. You know what? Let me go ahead and settle down. Find me somebody in their 30s, 40s. They looking. They want to settle down now. They're done playing the game. So why did I say all that? To say this. I used to say women in their 30s are washed up. I used to say this all the time, especially when I was in my 20s. I knew what I was approaching. I was like, women in their 30s is washed up. Our options are limited. No other man in their 30s is checking for you. They want that 20-year-old. They're not interested in us. But when we hit 40, oh, our stock, way up there now. That stock price is way, way, way up there. Men are now interested again. They don't want, they don't play with the little girls. They don't play with all them people. They ready to have somebody grown that's on the same page as them. Financial stability, intellectually. They want that same person. But men wait till their 40s. And it sucks because the women in their 30s are not actually washed up. They have plenty to offer. Plenty to offer. They are quality women. But as women, we always have to wait for man to be ready to have us. We do not make that choice. We're not fortunate enough to be the people in the grand scheme of things that make the choice. Women, we wait for the man to settle down with us. We've been ready. We have to wait for them to ask us to marry them, for them to marry us. That's just the way it works. Women are in the unfortunate position that we have to wait for the man to be ready all the time. We can't make a move until he's ready. We can want to get married. That don't mean nothing. I'm like, all right, how does it feel to want? That's great. Good for you. You want to be married. Tracking. But the man has to be wanting to be married. And it's very seldom that it's the opposite, where the man is ready and willing to be married and the woman is just like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. That's not traditionally what occurs. So when we're in our 30s as females, the dating has to be rough, because you know exactly what you want, but your counterpart that's your age is running around still chasing this 20-something-year-old youth that they don't have anymore. And they want to run the streets, and they want to chase after this one and that one and this young girl and be at this bar and see how many young things they can take down and say they still got it. And it leaves the female behind to still have to wait. Still wait. And then you'll find men that they're in their 30s and they're emotionally mature enough to say, yes, I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to go. This is true. But overall, it doesn't appear that way. It doesn't appear that way at all. Like you even have men and women who are in long-term relationships. 10 years, they met in their 20s, 30s come around, they have a kid, they together, and he still don't see that this woman that has been riding for him and standing by him is worthy of marrying, because they're not ready, because they really, really, really think that there is something young out there for them waiting. And if you are paying attention to social media, these young girls are chasing something that is a small percentage of society. They're not looking through long term. They want what is popular now, what is trendy now. And if you as a dude are not trendy now, guess what? That 20-something-year-old is really not checking for you. So you're leaving all these women in their 30s to start hardening a little bit. They're starting to say, you know what? I can do this by myself. I've been by myself. So what's the change? I'm 40 years old. My kid is off to college. I'm not having any more kids. Ball's in my court. The world is my oyster. Maybe it's my time. Maybe the times have changed. Maybe I can go and find me a little 20-something-year-old that's looking for some life experience. But it's really not fair. People have to be open to doing what is good in the long term, and that's finding a partnership and finding someone to spend the rest of your life with and grow old together with. Nobody wants to be old and by themselves. As people, we want to be with another person. That is just the way we are designed. We are designed to be with other people. We are packed animals, so to speak. We're not designed to be alone. To be a loner is actually not exactly normal, the norm. We have a want to be with people. We want to gravitate. That's why we hang out with people. This is why we have families. You know, we don't have kids and like some animals, once the kid is able to eat and hunt, that kid goes off on their own and the parents go do their own thing and then they start again. We don't do that. We keep our family. So that's what people want. So women in their 30s have the hardest time because their counterparts are not in a place to want to receive that union and partnership. In your 20s, prime time. But I say in your 20s, have at it. But when it starts getting down to your 26, 27, that's when you start gotta calm down a little bit. In my 20s, I had a ball. I say go date everybody you can. Find what you like. Find what you don't like. But try. I don't want to say put a timeline on it, but you want to start knowing what you're looking for before you hit that 30 mark. Because unfortunately, ladies out there, I've seen these men in their 30s. They are my friends. And they are looking for that young thing. They're looking for somebody young. Not to settle down with. Oh, they're not trying to settle down with the. Oh, no. Don't get it confused. They're not trying to marry these 20-something year olds. They want to have fun with them. And because they want to have fun still, they can't have you. Because if they have you, they're probably going to hurt you. And they actually don't want to do that. They don't want to be the man that is with this wonderful woman and they're cheating on them left and right. They actually don't want that. They want to be single. They want to be single. They want to be free. They just want to be able to fly. But at the same time, what are we doing as women? We can't change them. What do? Do we try to get a man, and because we know our biological clock is ticking in our 30s and we're like, we have to have these kids now and it needs to settle down, and I don't want to be 40 and still unmarried and still have no kids. So are we trying to grab onto any man we can? Are we trying to hold on to that person? Are we running them away? Are we checking their phone? What are we doing? Is it toxic what we're doing? Is it productive what we're doing? How do we counteract the stupidity between each other? Men who want to sit there and go around and be with every Tom, Dick, and Harry 20-year-old. Or I'm sorry, Jane, Jill, Jackie. I don't want to say Tom, Dick, and Harry. Or are we the women that feel the pressures of life and society and we running these men away or accepting any man just to say we got one? What are we doing? How do we fix it in society? Like how do we come together as people and come to understanding, like, you know what, maybe being single is the right thing for me, but if I want to be in a partnership, maybe I should start thinking about settling down. My generation is very interesting. I'm 38 years old. You either had kids very early. I have a lot of people that I know that had kids in high school, right out of high school, very early 20s. They had their kids. And then no one had kids. And then we all got into our 30s and we're struggling to have kids. And very few of us have been fortunate enough to go past that struggle. Whatever it is, some people were just waiting. Some of us had issues where it just wouldn't work out. And having kids in their 30s. And then there's some who still have none. They're still single. They're still without children. And it's not because they want to be, like, at all. Not because they want to be. Some of it's because they waited. And now they find themselves in a position like, did I wait too long? Did I not multitask properly? How is it that I've gotten my career together, but I didn't get the other part together? The having it all part. And then you have men the same way, that they wake up one day and it's just like, I just want a girlfriend. Like, I just want a wife. I am tired of this. I'm tired of these hungry man dinners. I'm tired of, sleeping alone, having random people, go out to Vegas, Miami, DR, and I go have fun. But then I come home to this empty bed, empty house, sad man's dinner, no kids, or I got a baby mama somewhere that I should have did right. Kid barely likes me because I didn't do their mom right or whatever. And they don't know how to fix it. Maybe it's a generational thing and I just not realizing it. But I do see plenty of people in my mom's age bracket that are very single, and they're still looking and waiting for their Prince Charming, or they're very single and made a lot of mistakes that I see people in my age group making the same exact mistakes. And don't get me wrong, I am fortunate, I guess, to be married, which it hasn't been perfect, like by far. Don't. I'm not one of these people that get on Instagram and like, oh, my life is perfect, my marriage is perfect, I'm married and you're not. No, 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 no. There's there's plenty of times that I'm like, oh man, sure wish I was single. But then I look at what being single is like, and it's just like, you know what? They used to say it's cheaper to keep her. I think it's less headache to keep her. It is crazy out there in those streets, and I don't think I want to be part of it. Now, I'll be 40 in 2 years, so I'll be popping again. So maybe then I can go out there in them streets. I'm joking. I'm not going in the streets. It's rough out there. I don't want to be out there. I'm very scared of the outside. Okay, if I see one or more of my friends swiping left or right, I I just can't. I can't. I can't do it. I'm very scared. I feel for you guys that are out there dating. It seems very hard. I couldn't do it. I am fortunate that at 28 I was able to marry my husband. I knew what I wanted. I knew that I had lived life and I seen the writing on the wall, and I knew what I wanted in life. And this was a man who thought he was going to be single forever. But we kind of came to the same conclusion of, do you want to grow old by yourself? Are we enough to make each other happy? They say, don't let nobody make you happy. You gotta make your own happy. Whatever that stupidity is that people say. You gotta find happiness. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We make each other happy. Yes, I'm happy without him as well. Yeah, blah blah blah. We still make each other happy at the end of the day. We make each other laugh. And, I was 28 and he was 31, and he put all his playboy ways aside, and that's the decision he made, and he says it's the best decision he made. Who knows? I got some other videos about that, but just remember, we have different stages in our life, different ages, and the people around us are not always on the same wavelength. Yes, women, we have to wait for men to be ready, and that's just the bottom line. I had two relationships